To show up and set in my super suit and be like, what are we doing? That guy hits that guy. Pow. Oh, yeah.
So this is 10 years of comics.
What?
We're going to check out some comics of our own right now. So we'll dive into some stuff. Let's check them out.
Let's do it.
Could Avengers Endgame make $300 million opening weekend? We have some first look images and new footage from CinemaCon for Terminator Dark Fate and more Avengers stuff. Endgame clip. Yep, that's right. We're talking all about it right now on Collider Movie Talk. That is right. Welcome, everybody, to Collider Movie Talk. I am your host, Mark Reilly, filling in for Perry Nemiroff. And look who's joining me. John Rocha's at the table. And, oh my God, with one of the greatest entrances in free-for-all history.
Hey-o. Thanks.
Greg Alba here as well.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, my friend.
I'm so happy. I'm usually pretty nervous before I do a first-time guest appearance on anything, but friends with John Rocha, we're friends.
We're friends.
I'm not invited to your wedding or anything.
You know, the jury's out.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody's invited to my wedding right now.
Yeah, right.
As we
okay.
slowly plan along. But
I wouldn't want to go anyway.
Yeah, okay. That's
Everyone's going to talk about the Schmoedown the whole time, and I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
No Schmoedown talk right now until a little bit later.
Schmoedown talk at the wedding.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I don't think my fiance wants to talk about the Schmoedown any more than a lot of people here.
I like that we're on here with a rookie, Reilly.
I know we are.
We can mess with him.
That's
Carry
right.
the bags, Alba. Carry
That's
the
right.
bags of the movie talk regulars.
All right.
No, it's always great
Speaking
to
of
have a new
movie
guy
talk
on.
regulars, let's get into it. Let's
Yes,
get into
sir.
our first story. We are going to start with the new Terminator Dark Fate images.
Yes.
They were released. Paramount released 6 new images of Tim Miller's Terminator Dark Fate. No details on the plot just yet. But we do have a quote that came to us, and it was Linda Hamilton, Tim Miller, talking about the movie, how he got excited about it. And he did say that what makes or breaks a movie is whether I care about the characters when everything starts exploding. I'm sure every action filmmaker says that, but I did really try and focus on the relationships of these characters to one another, and the fact that Linda came back makes this particular Terminator fresh. This story could only continue with her in the role of Sarah Connor. That's the most important thing to me. Linda reinvented this character in a way that both honors who she was before and brings something new to the role. Now, what also happened over at CinemaCon is that they released the very first footage of this, and it blew the socks off of the audience. I'm seeing it online right now. Even Jeff Snyder, who pretty much doesn't like big blockbuster movies, it seems,
Movies in general,
sometimes,
yeah.
he really dug this.
Oh, this he liked.
This he liked. There's a great write-up right now on Collider.com that I highly recommend you check out because it's a long description. So I don't necessarily want to go into all of it because it would take forever. I mean, it's basically Linda Hamilton coming back as Sarah Connor, kicking ass, doing bazookas at Terminators on a bridge. We have Mackenzie Davis's character that we see from time traveling into Mexico City. She whoops some ass over there. So everything looks really good right now. And then Tim Miller also revealed that apparently this new Terminator can split in two, becoming twice as deadly.
James McAvoy. That's awesome.
James McAvoy. So this is getting me excited. So Greg, I want to go to you on this because Terminator has been one of those franchises that part 1, part 2, beloved. Everything else, depending on your taste, not
Right.
so good. So does any of this do anything for you? Are you more excited?
I'm more excited.
Okay.
I have been very vocal on the internet saying that I have a lot of faith in this movie. I listened to the whole 45-minute, I think it was Hollywood Reporter interview with Tim Miller and James Cameron, and it wasn't just a big fluff piece. You could tell they really are thinking this out, and even in the self-awareness that Tim Miller was talking about in that quote you were reading of like, I know every action director probably says this. Just him even saying that little nugget of a line goes, he's well aware of every little step he's taking, and Linda Hamilton, I think, is the best addition for this because a lot of people, the franchise seemed to be taking this direction of, no, John Connor's the main ingredient. John Connor's the main thing. But we were talking about it before we started going live that, Linda Hamilton is the one who started off this franchise. Sarah Connor's the one who she's reinvented in part 2. It's going to be cool to see her reinvented in this one.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking with Harloff before we went live, and he was saying that he thinks it's a great time to release it because there's going to be no competition for this kind of movie on November 1st. So I have a lot of faith in this. I'm really excited about this movie. I have been for a while.
Yeah, I've been pretty mixed on the Terminator movies since Part 2. This stuff is getting me very, very excited. Rocha, I know we kind of share the same opinion of these last Terminator movies.
Oh, yeah.
And you were off air, we were talking about this, and you're like, So all of this new footage that you heard about and the new images, does it move the needle at all for you?
It's interesting. You look at these franchises, right? Aliens, Predator, and Terminator, right?
Yeah.
All these great starts that have just really kind of crapped the bed as they've gone forward in installments. After their second installments, you would argue, didn't quite match the same level as before. You see what happens here. You bring it back Tim Miller. It's got that Deadpool sweet smell on him. Then you bring back Linda Hamilton, and you erase the other things. Kind of a la what happened with Halloween last year, right? Remove all the other Halloween installments. You bring back Jamie Lee Curtis. You bring that character back. This is great. She's off. She's kicking ass. This is what you want to see if you're going to bring back Linda Hamilton. Schwarzenegger come back looking like that. Looking like the old school, Schwarzenegger there, like Grandpa King Conan over there. I love it. I love the vibe of this. So here's the deal. Yes, I am cautiously optimistic. I love the description of the footage. I wish I'd been there at CinemaCon to see the footage. I think that might have helped me as well.
No, it's just as good reading what the footage is.
But I think the thing is, fool me once, fool me twice, that kind of thing. But these elements have come together to make it work, and I hope it works because the reason we keep going back to these installments of Aliens, Predator, and Terminator is because we hope that they will recapture the magic from the first couple of films of each franchise, because that's what made us fans, and that's what we want to see one more time again. And it feels like this might be that. But if they blow it this time, for God's sakes, bury it once and for all.
I'm right there with you.
With Predator, and Aliens, bury it.
I'm along those thinking. It's like, how can this Terminator franchise be still going after some of the Terminator Genesis was?
Well, not just Salvation too.
Salvation wasn't very good, although I kind of liked it. It's like one of those movies where, I kind of liked it. I didn't hate it as much as a lot of people. I was just like, okay, but when I say kind of liked it, I mean, I'm doing this.
To pass, right?
It was one of those things. Genesis was, I just didn't understand the whole John Connor thing that they were going for there. All of a sudden, he's a Terminator. It's like, I guess everybody's a Terminator in this world now.
Right.
But Greg, to your point, I think it's very interesting they brought Linda Hamilton back. Because I think that is the heart of the franchise.
Yes.
I think that she was the one that, in Terminator, she was just this very nice waitress, minding her own business, realizes she has she's going to birth the savior, and then take down and create a resistance that's going to go against the machines, and then reinvent it again in Terminator 2. So it was the right move.
Reinvent her again.
I love this. And from the account of Jeff Snyder, who was at CinemaCon, is that when she came out on stage, she got the loudest cheer, and that when the footage rolled, apparently Sarah Connor is on a bridge, pulls out two guns. One of them is a bazooka, and she's taking out Terminators, I guess. So,
so awesome.
It got people really, really excited. But
I mean, even James Cameron in that Hollywood Reporter interview was like, because that's his ex-wife, and he was like, I was so nervous to reach out to her, but he reached out to her personally because he has that much faith in the story. And then even though he gave a plug for Genesis, which had me a little skeptical, he still wasn't creatively involved even as a producer for those movies.
Right. So that is my point. That's why I was going to go to you, Rocha, because he did come out, Cameron, and say that he gave praise to Genesis, which I don't understand after seeing the movie.
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't need the money.
But now, Greg, you make a great point. He did reach out to his ex-wife. He did sit down with Tim Miller to do this stuff. So do you believe that this is a different Cameron, that he is actually truthful right now?
Yeah, I think so, and I think because he's more involved in it, right? Like John Carpenter coming back to do Halloween. I mean, there's a lot of comparisons here that make sense between the Halloween comeback and this Terminator comeback potentially being just as good or well received. And Cameron being involved in it makes a lot of sense too, because the other thing, look, Steven Spielberg condoned those Transformers movies that everybody freaking hates,
right?
But it doesn't tarnish his legacy or his opinion on things. So James Cameron, he's a businessman. He's got very strong opinions about a number of things that we've talked about on this show, and other people have talked about ad nauseum. So look, he made a comment about Terminator and maybe saw something in there that sparked a thought in him that he liked, so he gave a blurb about it. This is a different situation, and this also is another thing where everyone's kind of lining up to push this thing forward and hopefully put it across the line and be a successful installment in the franchise that gets people back in love with it and giving it the benefit of the doubt rather than being skeptical.
And I gotta say, I am really excited based on the reaction from CinemaCon. I do like these images. Again, I don't get very excited for images. I got to see it in motion.
Arnold playing? He can't be the T-800, right?
No, but he might be
an aged version of Terminator. And I'm wondering too. That's a good point, because in Genesis he did play an older Terminator that aged, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they're taking that same kind of idea. That, I mean, it is human skin on the end of skeleton, so it probably ages. Yeah. He's probably that old Terminator, but I don't know how they're going to work that into the story.
I had heard rumors, I don't know if it's true, but I had heard rumors that he was going to play a scientist who they based the first Terminator
like
on.
That Terminator 3 deleted scene.
Yeah, in terms of the look. Yeah, that he was the scientist and they based the T-800, the first one, on him. And so he's going to be involved in that way, which is the only way I would accept this. I do not want a grandpa Terminator. I don't. Like, we don't need it. It's no logical reason. I don't use a tape recorder. You know what I'm saying? I use an app on my phone. So you don't need it. And so like the thing is, you got to move forward. And I think I hope he's playing a human being in some way connected to this whole thing. That would be more believable to me, because if he's playing a Terminator again, I guess we'll like it, but it would worry me a little bit how
it's been done. Work.
Yeah, it's been done.
It's been done
multiple times.
I get it. So you'll be able to decide November 1st. This thing comes out, guys. What did you think? Go over to Collider.com. Read our Just Snyder's article about the footage. If you're excited to get you more excited, drop in those comments. And we want to hear from you.
And then we could do a proper Alien sequel, and then get a cinematic crossover with all three senior ladies in the Ultimate franchise. Right?
I like that a lot.
Jamie Lee Curtis,
I think if this thing isn't a success, people might be looking at Neil Blomkamp's version of Alien that was going to come after Aliens. So
you can even get James Cameron produce that one too.
Yeah, it looks like he's putting his name on it, you know. So we'll see. So let's hear from you guys as well. Drop in those comments about Terminator Dark Fate. Are you excited? We want to hear from you. So let's move on to the next story, which is Avengers. It's Endgame. It is opening very soon.
Are you over this?
I'm not. No. I'm not over it. I mean,
it's Avengers.
I can't believe the reason I'm saying it is this way. Deadline is reporting that there is conservative tracking happening.
Yes.
That Endgame might open between 200 and 250 million. That's a big range, by the way. But they're also saying that the 3-day could reach as high as 300 million. That sigh you were seeing at the beginning there is me going, holy, you know what? Wow. I'm like, really like, I cannot believe that this thing is tracking that way. But I want to put it to you, Rocha, because this is, I'm starting to think about this. 257 million was the highest opening of all time for Infinity War. The ticket sales was the highest ticket sale, pre-sales in 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's the culmination of the MCU as we know it. We've had, 10 plus years of these movies. I see 300 million as a real shot. I see it happening. Rocha, what do you see? I mean, not happening, but I see we could get close. What do you see?
Yeah, it concerns me because I read the article and the interview, or they talked to these people and they figured it out with the amount of theaters versus how many showings and what have you.
Because it's 3 hours long. It's 3 hours and 2 minutes.
2 minutes long. But you got to factor in AMC has those half-an-hour blocks of commercials and trailers and whatever ahead of time, so that's going to add time. They got to clean that theater. It's a 4-hour turnaround per screen, so you got to wonder how many screens are going to be showing it that often, and people are going to go see it at like 1 a.m. It's a 3-hour movie. Those are the things that factor into this situation. There's not a lot of 15-year-olds be like, oh, I'm going to go see it at 1 a.m. or 18-year-olds or whatever. Like, I'd be surprised by that. So I think it's certainly possible, but a lot would need to happen to make it be possible. Yes, the numbers work, but like Kevin Costner says in JFK, well, with numbers, I can show you that an elephant can hang off a cliff with its tail tied to a daisy. Doesn't mean it's possible or true. So like, you look at this thing and say, can it happen? Sure, it can happen, but so much needs to happen for it to happen. Like 70% per theater. It has to be full per screening. Yeah. So that's a lot to ask. And if there's even little bit of a mixed reviews, then it could affect it really powerfully.
Yeah, and that's what this Deadline article says, is poor reviews could impact these projections, but Deadline claims that they know one credible industry professional who saw the movie. One. So let's keep those.
Let's not worry.
Let's just go there. But one person said that it is mind blowing.
Yeah.
So
the second half, right?
The second half. So thank you, one person. We appreciate your thoughts. Greg, do
Literally
you think,
be anyone.
Yeah, I know. It's like, who's their source on this? But look, I trust Deadline sourcing.
My friend Frank.
I have a feeling in me because, and I'm not big on tracking because Solo like sold out Fandango to pre-ticket sales.
You can't really tell what tracking.
And then Thursday night, the previews were up and all this kind of stuff. And then Solo didn't even make 100 million opening weekend, which was a Star Wars movie, for God's sakes. But with this one, I just have this gut feeling because of everything we've seen in Infinity War, that cliffhanger to end all cliffhangers. Like, Greg, does any of this make sense to you? Do you think we could actually see?
It's going to flop. Yeah, it's going to be a total.
But could it hit 300 million?
I think for sure it'll outperform the opening weekend of Infinity War.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
No doubt about that. 300 million, like a lot of the things you're factoring in, John, are so true. Like, you got to have more screens available. The runtime is very, very long. There's a lot of different, and tracking is very difficult to determine how a movie will do. I think the only safe bet you could say is like for sure more than Infinity War's opening weekend. 300 million, I could definitely fathom that. It's not like a maybe for me. I'm like, if I hear that, I'm going to go, yeah, cool. Yeah. I am not surprised if that's what it gets. And I'm actually hoping it does. That'd be cool. Yeah. Because I woke up at, would you guys do the whole morning ticket thing? I woke up at like 4:50 a.m. and I couldn't, it's 3 hours trying to get tickets. It was a disaster.
I finally just looked at my app when I was on Collider Live in the booth and I bought tickets.
You son of a b-word.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, I wonder. Nope, got him.
No way.
Yeah, and my seats aren't that bad either. They were just like, they're at the ArcLight and in a great seat. So
I got the text at 7 a.m. from my friend. He bought 53 tickets for us.
So
I didn't have to do a damn thing. Except Venmo him $19.
I got into
that was nice.
I got into the IMAX screening 4 times and it just kept logging me out. I got my seats and it just logged me out every single time.
You got to be quick.
So I'm like, this movie better make $300 million.
Well, I look at that. It's maybe call it a gut feeling as well. Like I said, I just think 300 million. You kind of said it, Greg. We can fathom it. We've seen it. These movies have opened huge now, but why don't we do this? Let's make some. Let's put the numbers. Let's give me Rocha, Greg. Give me your numbers. Opening weekend.
280 million.
280 million. Greg, Rocha, what do you got?
285. I say 285.
I was going to go, but I just want to have
pushing
fun.
It 285. Yeah. Because if there's a weather situation, that could affect too.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
That's happened.
No, very
certain
true.
Films have been.
That's why Solo didn't do well. The weather was bad that day.
There was
I know you're almost going to say it, Rocha, weren't you? Yep. I'm going to go with. I still think it's close to 300 million. I'm going to go 291.
Okay.
Opening weekend.
So
I think
I'm the low ball here.
It'll almost get there, but 300 million that's huge. That's 257. I mean, we're talking almost 50 million more than that. Yeah, I don't know.
If it was a 2-hour movie, Reilly, 1,000% over 300 million. 1,000%.
And a lot of people don't like. I mean, we're movie buffs, but a lot of people don't like dealing with the crowds.
Yeah.
They don't like dealing with the stress of that. Yeah. So,
it's a good point. I mean, we're hardcore sweaties. We're going to go see this thing opening night. Exactly. A lot of you guys watching right now are going to go see this thing opening night. But I wonder, my mother's going to see it probably on the Tuesday. In her matinee that she goes to with her friends.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, that people are saying that this thing can also make $1 billion the first weekend because it's opening day and day in China
in multiple countries.
Multiple countries all over the world.
How would it be to be alive for that?
My God.
Insane.
So everybody watching at home and listening on our Movie Talk Podcast One feed, what do you think? Drop in your own numbers. Could this hit 300 million? My God.
Yeah.
That is the question of the decade right now. That'll be the biggest opening of all time. And that 300 million, if it gets there, I don't think people will touch that opening weekend for a long time.
That'll cover Robert Downey Jr.'s salary for the movie, too.
Yeah, there it is. So, all right, we're going to move on, but I want to remind everybody we're going to go to some live Twitter questions at the end of the show. So start sending them right now at Collider Video and hashtag Collider Movie Talk. We want to get your questions, answer them at the end of the show. And before that, we have more Avengers. Yeah, you guys want to keep talking Avengers, right?
Avengers.
Because there was a clip that was unveiled over at CinemaCon, and I want to do a spoiler alert because a lot of people, including myself, I'm going to spoil myself though, I don't need a lot of clips, I don't need a lot more trailers, I do want to go in pretty cold with this, but it's kind of cool, and it kind of, you can get a little bit off that last trailer. So in the new footage, spoiler alert is up. Stop listening right now if you're at home right now for the next 30 seconds.
Go to
so.
the Real Rejects.
Yeah, go to the Real Rejects. In the new footage, the Avengers, including Black Widow, Captain America, War Machine, and Bruce Banner, are trying to make sense of this stranger, Carol Danvers, who just dropped into their lives. She's more than ready to go after Thanos and his Infinity Stones, especially after Nebula and Rocket have helped her pinpoint his exact location, but not everybody's on board. Captain America explains to her that they usually work as a team. Bruce points out that they've gone up against Thanos before and lost. How do we know this is going to end differently, Bruce asks Carol, and she says, because before you didn't have me. Oh, that sounds like a Captain Marvel thing, so I love that. She says, and Thor weighs in with his judgment. As seen in the previous trailer, he stands in front of her, gets Stormbreaker, and he says Carol doesn't even flinch, and he basically says, let's go get this son of a bitch. We then cut to the flying spaceship piloted by Rocket, who says, has anybody been in space yet? And some people raise their hands. You better not throw up in my ship, says Rocket. So
that last part is actually my favorite because I had a big nitpick with Captain Marvel. A little slight spoiler here. You guys probably already seen it.
Yeah.
When Sam Jackson and I forgot Maria Rambo when they go into space and they have like no real like reaction to being in space for the first time.
Right,
Rocket's at least acknowledging them going, who here has actually not been to space, you know, like Nick Fury adjusted to that really quick in the movie. So
well, I love the implications of this clip. I just, it's assembling the Avengers essentially. They're gonna have to go into space to go meet Thanos. So
the footage is all manipulated.
Yeah,
it's not real.
But they did debut it at CinemaCon. It got everybody excited. Yeah. I'm excited by this. Rocha, are you excited by this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want to see any more. I know. We have to for our jobs. That's kind of part of it. So, but this is great because this is a scene that makes sense and picks up the vibe from where we left off in the last movie, in Infinity War. Seeing Captain Marvel kind of get involved and be part of this thing. How do you incorporate her when she's just shown up? She's a stranger. She's showing up essentially like a reliever in a baseball game to finish this thing out. And you're like, wait. We all got to do it as a team.
Yeah.
And she may not need them. And this is going to be an interesting thing that as people watch this movie is that it may be that Captain Marvel never needed these Avengers in order to do what needed to be done against Thanos. So it'll be interesting because this is a galactic warrior. This is not a human being who happened to take some serum. This is a galactic warrior. So
I think that's. Sorry to interrupt.
No. I'm just saying. I think that's going to be a fun thing to see the dichotomy, and if they can walk that line correctly, because maybe she does go up there, take the first swing, do whatever, and then Thanos hands her lunch, so she goes, okay, I do got to figure this out.
Yeah, exactly.
And that would be fun. That would be good to see. Give us another color, another layer on the character. Because I get everybody going like, yeah, the greatest. Reality is you got to make it all work within the team, and you've got to have everybody's got to have weaknesses and strengths. That's human. That's anything in a movie. You've got to show that with your characters, and I think that's what I look forward to.
I feel like with the Captain Marvel, a big complaint that people have is you don't really see a lot of those weaknesses physically, especially from her in her own standalone movie. And there's all those jokes going around of like she's just going to show up and beat him, and people will be upset by that. So I think actually putting that early on in your film and showing her lose to Thanos, or the team maybe losing another battle to Thanos very early on in the movie, would be a great way to really have her be a part of the team. Like exactly bouncing off what you were saying.
I'm going to give the Russo brothers a little credit because I believe that they saw Captain Marvel. Yeah. We've been saying it even before Captain Marvel. She's going to just kick Thanos' ass, right? That's the assumption made. But I'm giving the Russo brothers a little credit. There's going to be something that they do that it's not going to be that
easy. Make it worse. Make it worse.
Otherwise, we're not going to have a movie. Yeah. I mean, otherwise, it's like we could have ended this Infinity War, just extended a little bit more. Pager goes off. Captain Marvel returns, kicks Thanos' ass, and that's that. But it's the process. How do we get our heroes back from becoming dust? How does Captain Marvel figure into this? So I do believe there's going to be something that surprises us because that one guy that was with Deadline that saw this movie, Frank, said that it's mind-blowing. And I do believe it because, I mean, we're talking the Russos brothers now. I mean, they did Winter Soldier, then Civil War, then Infinity War. They're batting 3 for 3 right now.
They must be so tired.
They must be very tired.
Really
very rich.
But Rocha, I'm going to put it to you. Can they go 4 for 4?
In this movie?
Yeah,
absolutely. I have no doubts about it. I really don't. If there are, I don't know if there have been any more sure things than this coming out and being incredible. And Reilly, you make a great point about that. As a writer, you know that, Reilly. you have to write yourself into a corner sometimes and find your way out. And like, how do you do that when you introduce a galactic warrior like Captain Marvel, who's very capable of destroying probably all the Avengers by herself? How does she get worked into this team? You just wrote yourself into a corner. How do I get out of it? So that'll be exciting to watch as you go forward with this movie. But yes,
you think about more than the plot. You think about how would the characters go about this,
how they react to it. Yeah.
And there's something in she got her power from a certain Infinity Stone.
True.
You know, there's Infinity Stones that, you know, there's in these clips and everything. I believe they also said that Thanos used the Infinity Stones again.
Yeah.
So in Endgame, so
or
what
Nebula
does that
thinks
mean?
Nebula thinks that he
thinks
has.
that.
Yeah, right. What does that mean? Yeah.
This is interesting. I'm going to stop talking now about Endgame because we've done it enough, and I think a lot of people, including everybody at this table, maybe you out there, we don't need anything more. We're going to see this movie.
The one bummer about hearing about the clip is like everything else for the trailers, especially knowing how much they manipulate. You're like, it's all theories. And then I'm like, this seems a little concrete.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll move on to our next topic, that is. Yeah, I'm trying to talk my head out of this. All right, and that is the first trailer for My Spy.
The CIA.
With Dave Bautista. Yeah, the CIA. Oh, my God. You guys are killing it again.
Yeah.
My Spy is the new movie, and it centers on JJ, played by Dave Bautista, an elite and lethal CIA operative, played by, I already said that. When a mission goes wrong, JJ falls down a few rungs on the career ladder and goes undercover to run surveillance. But even that cushy op goes south for JJ as a whip-smart 9-year-old girl, played by Chloe Coleman, busts him in the act and manages to keep the upper hand. My Spy arrives in theaters later this year from STX Films. We don't have an exact release date yet, but Rocha, I'm going to go to you on this.
Yeah.
What did you think about this trailer?
Thoroughly loved it. Absolutely loved it. Look, Bautista is really carving out his own niche as a professional wrestler turned actor. You have The Rock has already laid pretty much the groundwork. Cena's kind of coming in from behind a little bit, but not really getting these kinds of roles. But you have Bautista as Drax. This is a franchise, a massive franchise. You have Bautista in the James Bond movie. You have Bautista in Blade Runner 2049. Now you have Bautista branching out into these comedies. He's doing another one with Kumail Nanjiani, I think.
Yeah.
And so you got him in this, and this is a perfect thing to do. The Rock did this with Game Plan, right? It's smart to do this, to get connected with a little child and then have a funny back and forth that takes advantage of the size and age versus a younger, and you know he's in deficit because he just can't seem to stop killing the people he's supposed to be supervising, or surveilling, and now this situation has presented itself, and he's got to kind of like come to terms with it, figure it out. It leads to very funny comedic stuff, and it shows you another side of Bautista. I tell you this 1,000%. I mean this. Do not be surprised if down the road, a few years from now, Bautista is holding a Best Supporting Actor Oscar. Do not be surprised. I think he'll win it quicker than The Rock ever will, quicker than Cena ever will. I just have a feeling, as professional wrestlers turned actors, Batista has more depth and complexity and vulnerability.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
That one role was wow.
I agree with you, Rocha. I was shocked at how much I laughed at this trailer. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I thought the tone was on point. I thought the little girl was adorable and like held her own with Bautista. And I think that humor that you see in Drax is coming out in a different way here. And I love it. I wouldn't put it past him. You can never say never with Oscars, right? But I mean, it seems a little weird for me right now to think of Dave Bautista winning an Oscar.
Well,
but
look, you didn't think Jamie Foxx was going to win an Oscar, and he's got one for Ray.
That's very true. You know? So never say never. But Greg, what did you think of this trailer? Did you like it as much as we did?
I'm not as enthusiastic about it as you got. I wasn't like,
you want to just hysterical. Oh, I see. You just want to talk about Avengers Endgame again. All right, roll the clip. Let's go back.
No, I thought it reminded me a lot of like The Pacifier and Game Plan. I've heard some people throw out the words like kindergarten cop, and I'm like, yeah, more like Pacifier and Game Plan, but I actually really like Game Plan.
Yeah, that was good.
I was surprised by how much I enjoyed that, and my one thing that I really liked is that note of how he causes all this destruction as a spy, and that's a complaint I've always had about Bond. Is he's supposed to be a spy, but he's the last thing at being discreet. You know? Right. So to actually have that play into your whole plot, I think is great. And I don't know, the director Peter Segal, is it Peter Siegel?
Yeah, Siegel.
Peter Siegel, right? He did get smart.
Yeah.
He did Get Smart, but he also did movies like Grudge Match and, like
Sure.
some movies
But
that weren't
did
so
50
great.
First Dates, which was good.
And then he also did,
Yeah, right. It's an unbalanced.
It's a real mixed bag with this guy.
Certainly an inconsistent
Yeah, there's some
career.
good ones.
Yeah.
And this,
I mean, but I think it's cool that, even though we're not the target demographic for this kind of movie, I think that it appeals to like us as well as for children. So I think this could be a big hit regardless, even if the trailer, and looking at the trailers, it's like met with comedy trailers. I always pay attention to the likes and dislikes more than any other trailer.
Oh, yeah.
And the likes are through the roof on this. So
There
people
it
are
is.
loving this. And I'm happy for Dave Bautista because I was kind of getting sick of him playing the same kind of guy.
Yeah,
And
I get that.
like putting him in like Spectre, which is another spy movie, ironically. Putting him in Spectre is like cold, quiet guy. I'm like, nah, this guy has a personality. Let's let it shine. Even as Drax, he's kind of just, has these one-liners, but he's kind of a two-dimensional character in like Guardians 2 and Infinity War. Guardians 1, he was great, but in this movie, you're like, oh, he has to, what's the movie? That's the word I'm looking for here. Carry it,
Yeah. Well, they always say you don't want to work with children and pets, right? Or children and animals on movie sets. So I think it's a sign of a really good actor that can hold his own against a child actor. And so we'll see. It really landed well with me, somewhat with Greg and then Rocha as well.
It was fun.
It seems fun. What do you guys think? Have you seen it? Go to Collider.com. You can check out the trailer right now for My Spy. Drop in those comments. We want to hear from you and what you think. So, all right, we're going to go to some Twitter questions now. But first, I want to do some plugs. We do have a Shazam spoiler review happening tonight. It will drop on our channel, so check that out. If everybody going to see Shazam for the first time tonight and you want to get our spoiler thoughts, it's going to be up there. We also have Collider Mailbag this weekend. And then we also have a new Ladies Night. It is back with Amy Seimetz. She is the actress in the latest Pet Sematary, and she has a nice Ladies Night with Perry. We have a little clip for you. We're going to roll right now. Right now. Not happening?
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Let's
no clip right
let's
now.
reenact it.
Let's act it out, Reilly.
We're gonna
Us
act it
three
out.
men will
so
reenact
Perry
it.
sits back in her chair. Says some things. Amy leans forward and
Amy leans forward with the Pet Cemetery logo behind her.
All right.
Speaks eloquently about the things. They share some laughs. And
It's not rolling. Yeah,
All right,
we're.
I was liking this though.
Oh my God! Where are Collider bloopers when we need
Yeah,
them?
we're just
That
behind
was
the
probably I'm like right now, right now.
All right.
right now. And you know what we're gonna do right now? Take Twitter questions because F that clip. F it all the way home.
We're
All
not ladies.
So yeah. But you can check that out. That is gonna be up on the channel, and you can check it out with Perry and Amy Seimetz. I hear it was a great time. I can't wait to check it out myself. So I'm gonna go to Rob Wait, no, I can't even read that. So, how many new characters will be introduced in Avengers Endgame? Obviously, they won't be fully fleshed out, but maybe a quick cameo or mention, which is usually how Marvel quietly introduces characters. Example, Doctor Strange, Captain America, Winter Soldier. I say 4 new characters. This is from Rog Galafasi. What do you think, guys?
4 new. Do you mean like Frank and Bob and James, or do you
Yeah, I
mean
know.
like legitimate, real characters? There's some.
Do we have any left?
He's got to put a team back together again.
Right.
I feel like Thanos does. Like he
Right.
lost Ebony Maw, he lost all these people that were part of the Black Order with him. There's you could certainly make a case that 4 new people show up that are a new crew, or he brings them back to life somehow to be his crew again in the Black Order. So that's all possible because people loved the Black Order coming out of Infinity War and were angry that they all essentially died before the movie's over. So
Sure.
I think that if you're going to go that route, those 4 new characters seem the most make sense if there's going to be 4 of them.
What about you, Greg?
I blew your mind.
I don't know about any new main, like what Rocha's saying about any new main characters. I feel like we'll probably get some characters that are linked to some new main characters, but personally, I kind of don't want that. And this specific Avengers movie or any MCU film, because of what's at stake, because it's, even though it's called Endgame, it is essentially a part 2 to Infinity War. I kind of don't want any other any characters being. We already got Captain Marvel being introduced to the team. We don't need to have more introductions. Like, just this is supposed to be the cap off, So
Right.
just let it be that, and don't worry. I mean, Marvel's always going to set something up, but I don't want to be too like, oh yeah, I'm all consumed by that.
I'm with you. I read this, and by the way, I read it wrong. This Wes Sager gave that question. Sorry about that, Wes. Thank you for your question. I don't want new characters either, and because I feel like we have so many already that we're already going to be there. The Russos are already walking that line of making sure that all these characters have some kind of, I don't know about arc, but like, you know, they're worried about a lot. They have a lot of characters. I don't need any more. I'm just more interested in like the story right now and how it's going to happen. And if they slide in some, some Easter eggs, great. If they introduce a new character,
that's
great.
fine. Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I mean, there was a rumor the Silver Surfer would show up in Infinity War because of that weird casting thing that happened.
It's not gonna happen.
I don't know if they had that plan, but if anything, if they introduced a Silver Surfer, that would be rad for me. But I doubt that. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know how the Fox deal works yet.
Yeah, and I got a weird feeling that, and I've been wrong, but I've also been right. I weird feeling that Thanos isn't the only main baddie in this movie. Isn't the main bad? Like,
you've been saying that,
Yeah,
Rocha.
I
like
feel like
that.
there might be more. If we go in, there isn't. I'll take egg on my face. I guess it's not the first time, but like this idea that it could be. I just have this feeling there's something more. There's something deeper, stronger behind this whole thing. Because Thanos has been behind it from the beginning since Thor, kind of in the background, and then came to the front. What if there's even a bigger baddie? Because Galactus is certainly a bigger baddie. You could introduce Galactus. I think it's probably late in the game, but you never know. So I just think there's something more that we're going to see. I just don't know if a 3-hour movie that, you've been waiting for the battle this whole time, it just seems like there needs to be more here. And we saw with the Lord of the Rings, that was epic final battle, but so much other things happened to so many other armies and battles were had. So I just wonder if there's something more here that's going to go along with Thanos. I could be wrong, but I just have a weird feeling about it.
All right.
And the other thing to that point of all the characters, we already have characters who weren't in Infinity War who are coming to this one, like Ronan and Ant-Man, and Valkyrie's been confirmed.
Captain Marvel.
I'm like, that's already got a lot of other people coming into the game right now.
That's right. I can't. Yeah, that's right. Valkyrie was on the poster. I can't wait for Valkyrie to come because they need all the help they can get for Thanos. So, all right, let's go to this one. It's at SN Don Nib, and that's what with the Joker trailer using the song "Smiles So Brilliantly." What's your favorite movie trailer that took a sweet song and gave it a dark turn?
Oh man, that's a thinker of a question right there.
I know.
Is it taking like the actual song or taking like a cover?
Maybe a cover or maybe just a song that was used in a trailer in an effective way. Do it.
Joker, right?
That was Joker, yeah.
Right, is that what they were mentioning?
They were mentioning Joker using Smile.
Yeah, Smile.
What is another trailer that used something I know? I'm trying to rack my head.
I should know this.
Did they use Singing in the Rain in the Clockwork Orange trailer? I wonder if they did. Because that's certainly a moment that shocked me. That's a pretty dark movie, and they play that song in a very dark moment of that movie, a violent moment of that movie. So certainly that, but with a trailer, it would take me some time to look, I think.
There's the trailer that comes to mind. I can't remember the song. There's the Payback trailer, the Mel Gibson movie, and the Dean Martin song. What was the song that they
Ain't That a Kick in the Head?
Ain't That a Kick in the Head? Yeah, I really like that. The irony to that.
I was just recently. I believe Godzilla King of Monsters used Somewhere Over the Rainbow in a kind of subdued way that I thought was pretty cool. That was the first thing that popped in my head. But that's a good question, and then I wanted to ask it, but then I realized we have to do a lot of research for that one. We have to actually think about it because it's such
a moments though. Hip to Be Squared, American Psycho. That's pretty cool.
We're going to like 90s movies.
I know, right? All right, let's go to this one at J Scott for real. If you could kickstart your own film festival, what would you call it, and what types of films would you showcase, and in what city would you hold it? You guys get your own film festival. What are you calling it? What are you featuring? And what city are you doing?
I'm not sure what I call it, but I think doing like art house action films would be
art house action films,
like movies like Drive or Upgrade, films like that, or what was the other one? Is it The Guest? The one with Dan Stevens, stuff like that. Things that are like real action driven.
I like that.
Yeah,
Guest is so good.
I don't know what I would call it exactly. I don't know, art house action fest. It's not fun, but art house action festival.
What about you, Rocha?
I'm boring.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Don't let those kids tell you you're boring.
I would call it the Outlaw Nation Film Fest.
There it is.
It would be it would be the greatest westerns that have ever, and they would be programmed in a certain way so you could appreciate the progression of the genre from the 30s. With Stagecoach and some of the John Wayne stuff too, where you see stuff like the Wild Bunch to Unforgiven to even more recently Sisters, Brothers, or Slow West, the progression of the genre, and then start highlighting actors and actresses who made their bones in westerns, and then directors in that way as well. And I would probably hold it somewhere in the West, maybe down in Arizona somewhere, or somewhere further up north
New Mexico,
or maybe even Mexico. Sure, why not?
Santa Fe is a beautiful
Santa Fe,
town.
New Mexico. Yeah, exactly.
I hold it in New Beverly Cinema. That's right.
New Beverly Cinema. That's a good one. I would probably do a horror film festival. I'd want because horror.
We're so cliche with her. Like,
I know it's like everybody. I mean, I just love the horror genre so much because it is something you could, horror benefits from sometimes just one location. So you can have up and coming filmmakers make their horror movies, scare the shit out of me. That's what I want. I will program it. I'm going to do it. Where am I going to do it? What's a scary town? I'm going to go to the Exorcist location in DC. I'm going to have it around there.
Nice.
And I'm going to call it Riled Up.
Oh,
like Reilly, riled
nice,
up. Okay,
nice.
yeah. Does that work?
Oh man.
Okay.
We should have it at the Vatican.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh my God, I can't do that. I don't think they
never know.
Yeah.
No, I think we do know. No way the Vatican. Hey, you're not doing that here. No.
That's not a good one. All right, let's go to this one at Brian Knight at Project Avant. Now that Captain Marvel has made $1 billion and Endgame
is it official?
Yeah, it's official.
Nice.
It crossed $1 billion. And Endgame is poised to break records. What will be the next MCU movie to make $1 billion worldwide? Aside from Endgame, aside from Endgame,
Do we know
so we have Spider-Man: Far From Homecoming.
Nope.
We have Black Panther 2 coming. He
Black
does
Panther
say
2,
he does say
probably.
besides Black Panther 2. But
Thanks
then
for
we do have
specifying that up
we
front.
do have the Eternals coming.
Definitely
What else do
that.
we have? Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Part 2, and then what are we going to get after that? We don't
I would
know.
say Guardians. I'd say Guardians 3 is the one in play at this point of the ones that have been announced or are going to happen. Guardians 3. If you're gonna remove these other ones, which is a bit of a cheat, I would have to say Guardians is because the anticipation now of this to see what James Gunn is going to do with this film will get people into. And if he finishes this trilogy in a fantastic way, it'll make people want to go over and over again to see it.
Yeah. What about you, Greg?
That was going to be. That's why I brought it up, and then Rocha just.
Sorry, rookie.
I'll let you think a bit.
I'm thinking something from the Disney Fox deal, perhaps. Like whatever we get there, like a Fantastic Four or one of the X-Men movies or something like that. I think that would be. I think for sure one of those. Honestly, Far From Home, I wouldn't be entirely. I don't see it breaking $1 billion, but I wouldn't be surprised if it broke $1 billion.
I was going to go Far From Home, and I'll tell you why. Because it's the next movie we're going to get after Endgame.
Good call.
And after the Avengers, Iron Man 3 comes out and makes over $1 billion because I think there's still going to be some hype left over. Now, that is if it's like really great, and the critics
And that's if
love
it's
it, and the audience love it.
Continuation as well.
And they said, it's a continuation, picks up, I believe, after almost immediately after the events of Endgame. At least that's what I heard. It's like,
Yeah, it's more likely, yeah.
Yeah, so I would go with that because of Spider-Man. It did very well. The Homecoming did almost 700 million worldwide. So I would say that's the best bet. So
And it's actually the highest reviewed, like critic-wise and audience score-wise, Homecoming. So that's true. And if he does, when he comes back in Endgame, it's probably going to be a lot of hype.
it's going to be crazy.
Actually, you're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Could be.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one last question, and then we'll call it a day here on Movie Talk. And it's at John Caro 4. What is an actor, actress you want to see to get out of his comfort zone in future films? For example, the likable Tom Hanks is in comedies, dramas, was in Road to Perdition. Yeah, get out of their comfort zone. I mean, Tom Hanks is always getting out of his comfort zone. He was just revealed he's going to play Elvis Presley's manager in Baz Luhrmann's next movie with that's going to focus on Elvis Presley. So
A lot of actors,
Tom Parker.
a lot of actors who break typecast, we kind of forget when they do because they don't tend to be their big hits. I would like this. I don't know if this is a cheat of a question, but I kind of would want to see Tom Cruise do it again because he's kind of just been the same.
Yeah,
he's been Ethan Hunt for like ever.
Every movie. Yeah,
he's been Ethan Hunt for a while. But when I was growing up, I didn't associate him as an action star. It was like Jerry Maguire, Born on the 4th of July. These real, and that's what allowed him to come back into the spotlight and become like #1 again in terms of box office. But I think I think it'd be cool to see like him do another role, maybe even a comedy, perhaps.
Yeah,
you know,
he excels at comedy. Rex Grossman and
exactly.
Thunder, he kicked butt. And I'm sorry, Tom Cruise is fantastic as Lestat the vampire in Interview with the Vampire. I watched it, rewatched an Interview over Halloween last year, and I forget how good that movie is, and I forget Anne Rice hated Tom Cruise, and then saw the movie and went, "Sorry, Tom Cruise," because he crushed it.
Yeah.
What about you, Rocha?
Daniel Day-Lewis in a Fairley Brothers comedy. That would
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But he could do it, though. You could totally see it. I think I may have answered this already, so maybe I'm copping out here. But Tiffany Haddish, I would love to see Tiffany do a drama. I think Tiffany has the bones from her story of being homeless for a couple of years and living out of her car. Her and Kevin Hart, if you could find a way to do a Kevin Hart in a drama, I know that new one that came out was okay, but like Tiffany Haddish is the one. I think Tiffany Haddish has the abilities, just the voiceover work she did in Lego Movie 2 was pretty incredible, and that she can sing that well. You're like, my God, you have all this talent. You were homeless. You couldn't get across. People didn't see it. People didn't want to cast. People, for whatever reason, you didn't get. And look, we could have lost all this talent if she hadn't found her way back. And the thing is, that would be something to explore really well in a stark drama.
Yeah. So, I just thought one more.
Yeah, please.
This might seem like a weird one because I personally don't really care for him as an actor.
No.
But Jai Courtney, if he did a comedy, because I think of like when James Franco did Pineapple Express, people like fell in love with James Franco.
Yeah.
When Channing Tatum did 21 Jump Street, people fell in love with it. And a lot of people didn't really think they were like the greatest of actors, like the way people feel about Jai Courtney.
Sure.
But what he did with Suicide Squad, that wasn't a comedy. People really liked him in it. So I feel like a way for people to like Jai Courtney is if he leads a comedy and he does a good job in that.
Yeah, and Jai Courtney was just on Collider Live, so if you guys want to go to some of those clips,
I love Jai Courtney in every department.
He's coming in right now.
Hey, Jai Courtney.
I gotta tell you,
Hi, Mike.
He was fantastic on Collider Live, and Captain Boomerang. Yeah, he was the best part.
He's like
of the
Captain
movie
Boomerang and Jack Reacher were the two like big. But
He was good in Jack Reacher.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll end it by saying that we touched on it. You were talking about it, Rocha, when you said Dave Bautista, and you mentioned Oscars with Sooner or Later with him. The Rock, for me, has played pretty much the same character in every single movie. I would love to see him get out of his comfort zone and do a straight drama. Do something that there's a lot of heart, something that really tests and flexes his muscle with acting. I want to see something that, doesn't involve him being really funny and charming, and, something that, takes some risks.
I think especially
go
now.
deep. Yeah.
Because he did Snitch a few years ago.
Yeah, Snitch was good.
And he was good in
I don't
it.
think I saw that.
Yeah, him and John Bernthal, and he's trying to save his son
It's
from
a straightforward drama.
Really?
His son
Okay.
gets caught up in this drug stuff going on with Benjamin Bratt being the drug lord.
Yeah.
And he has to take the fall for his son and goes to jail to figure out who's setting this whole thing up.
Nice.
And he comes out, and him and John Bernthal kind of come together to figure this thing out together. And it's a great straight up drama.
But I think he's even evolved more as an actor since. So I think him doing that now would be even better than what he did in Snitch.
Great. I got to check out Snitch then. Sounds good. All right, everybody. That'll do it for Collider Movie Talk on this Thursday. Thank you for joining us today. Perry will be back next week to host. So thank you for joining us. I want to thank the panel here. Greg, thank you very much. Where can people find you? Because you're not always here on Movie Talk.
No, I'm not. Been trying for years.
Yeah, right?
The Real Rejects on YouTube and Instagram, Twitter, at the Greg Alba. Be great if you followed me.
There you go.
I like followers.
You
more
like
the
followers.
better.
We all do. And that over there is The Rocha Says over there on Twitter. And you can follow me at Reilly Around on Twitter as well. Thanks to everybody for joining us today. We will see you. Are we doing a wide shot next? Yeah, that's right. We'll see you next week.
Good job,
Collider
Greg.
Movie Talk is back.
Oh, thanks.
Bye-bye.